last night, but it is time to get into the nuts and bolts of Week 4. We got some couple teams that are in must-win situations. Or are they? We'll talk about that and much more. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions' domination of the Green Bay Packers. Chargers, Raiders, Falcons, Jaguars, but first.
And now, Mike's thoughts.
The NFL replay system has been broken for a very, very long time. Let's just be honest. When you can't review certain aspects of a game because they can't be reviewed, it is a broken system. Last night, the Green Bay Packers snapped the ball with negative 2 seconds on the clock. Let's just be honest. The clock struck 0, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi downset height. They threw like a 60-yard pass. Great play for me. I'm like, go Pack, go baby, right? But then we started being like, man, that clock was at 0 for a very, very long time. Why can't we not review the basics of a NFL game? Why can't we not review if a play clock goes down to 0? Why can't we not review if a time clock goes down to 0? If we cannot review stuff like that, take replay out of the game. If we cannot review the basic aspects of a NFL football game, take replay out. I don't want to see it no more. If you cannot review the clock, if you cannot review a spot, like if you cannot review that somebody blatantly grabbed my face mask, threw me down on the ground, spit in my face and said, "Who was your daddy?" I don't want to see it. Get replay out of the NFL right now. This is twice now that the Detroit Lions have been kind of hosed on the time clock. Flashback to, was it last year or a couple years ago, right? Justin Tucker kick a record-length 61-yard field goal to not only beat the Detroit Lions, but basically that game alone kind of kept them out of the playoffs. Let's just be totally honest. That kick was kicked with negative 2 seconds on the clock. Last night, Green Bay Packers, if they would have come back and won that game, which they were this close, they're this close. If they come back and won that game, we'd all be pointing the, why can we not review this play? That is just my legitimate question. Why can we not review the basic aspects of an NFL game? Time clock. Time of whatever. Damn it. Cue that intro.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live, all 3 speakers go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Bucknasty here today with Man Hour NFL Live, Raw, Uncut NFL Talk today on this Friday edition, Week 4, September 29, 2023. It is 10:04 a.m. here on the East Coast. And guys, we got to talk about the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions last night. The Detroit Lions said, cheesehead, hold my beer. I will show you how to straight up dominate a football game. And then we're going to let you come back. And then we're going to show you how to dominate, close a football game again. We got to talk about that game last night. And then it is Freeform Friday, guys. Anything you want to talk about today, drop it down there in the chat. We will talk about it. We will discuss it. I don't care if the conversation goes to the left or goes to the right, or we're strictly right down the middle and you guys follow suit. It doesn't matter. Freeform Friday. Let's talk some NFL. Whatever NFL you want to talk about, off at the top of the dome, bada bing, bada boom. I will give you guys my thoughts on that. But we do have some teams that are in must-win situations come week 4. Or are they? We got to talk about the Bengals. We got to talk about the Jaguars. We got to talk about the Raiders. We got to about the Chargers. Are they in some week 4 must-win situations for those 4 teams? But first, if you guys have not done so already, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Let me know that you are here. Share this live feed out to all the masses over there on your Facebook or on your Twitter machine. However you are listening to this, share us out, guys, because sharing is caring at the end of the day. And also, hitting that like button. It literally costs you nothing to spam the like button right now. Hitting that like button helps us more than you will ever realize. It pushes it out to the masses like, man, these guys are doing some good work over there. Let's share this out to some more people. We got Jay in the chat today. He is a resident Detroit Lions fan, if I'm not mistaken. But Jay says Cheeseheads always need that government assistance at home. It's always been that way. Not only did the refs help him out, right? The replay booth tried to help him out. Come on, Jay. You got to go there already. Government assistance, cheeseheads. I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Jay. But, Jay, welcome to the chat, man. Congrats on the victory last night. But guys, one thing that we need to talk about is our week NFL 4 Pick'em. Week 4 NFL Pick'em is officially live. You get a chance to win $100 bills. Yo, $100 if you get the most correct picks and you pay the $1 entry fee. $1 entry fee gives you a chance to win the $100 bills. Simply click on the link in the chat below. I pinned it on YouTube and both Facebook. Click on that link and bada bing, bada boom, you get registered to win that $100. Come Tuesday afternoon, I do compile all the picks. I put the Excel sheet into my old algorithm and it spits out how many wins that you got. And bada bing, bada boom, I will email you. Jay, you won the $100, man. You want it through a Vimo, you want it PayPal, you want a Cash App, let me know, baby. I'll send you like $100 right then and there. And that is what we do. Week 4 NFL, guys. Week 4 NFL Pick'em is officially out. Check it out. Good times. Nick won in week 2. Thamius is that Themia won week 3. So Jay, you could be the next one. It could be John. It could be Jim. It could be Alpha Rob. Who knows? But right now, we have about 14 people that have registered, so odds are in your favor right now, baby. What's up, guys? So let's go ahead and dive deep into this Detroit Lions game, Green Bay Packers game from last night. Now, obviously, as you guys know, I was rooting for the Packers last night. I thought the Packers were going to do good things. I thought the Packers had all the pieces in place to make a nice little run versus the Detroit Lions. They were at home, short work week. It was just, whoa, slow it down, baby, right? Guys, the Detroit Lions come out and they literally smacked the Green Bay Packers in the face. They said, "Know your role, jabroni." That's exactly what Adrian Hutchinson said. He says, come here, Jordan Love. Know your role, boy. Jordan Love got sacked 5 times last night, guys. 5 times Jordan Love got sacked last night. Adrian Hutchinson pressured the quarterback 8 times. 21% of dropbacks from last night. Adrian Hutchinson was in Jordan Love's face. He says, "Come here, let me smell your breath. What kind of gum are you chewing?" He also had 1.5 sacks last night. The Detroit Lions dominated both sides of the ball. I was speaking it on Thursday, right? I was kind of worried about the offensive line. I wanted Jared Goff to kind of get into a rhythm, nickel and dime it down the field. But Penny Stool got moved over back to right tackle. The left tackle was like in. He was healthy. David Montgomery was healthy. And they dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage. It was just dominant up and down the field on both sides of the ball. And then I thought when we did the show, David Montgomery was supposed to miss the game. Couple hours passed. I believe it was John sent me a message like, hey, David Montgomery's in. And bada bing, bada boom, 32 rushes later, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. Let's not do the average, but hey, 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery put that team on his back. Not only did the Detroit Lions control both line of scrimmage, they controlled the clock. They held the ball for damn near 40 minutes in that game. Simple math here, guys. How much minutes are in a game? 60. So when you are controlling 2/3 of the time of possession, damn right you better win that game. Damn right you better win it. Guys, I have kind of been downplaying the Detroit Lions all season long. I do still think that the Green Bay Packers will win the division. And I do think the Detroit Lions will make the playoffs. I still think they'll make some noise in the playoffs. But I might have to step back a little bit, guys. Watching the Detroit Lions dominate last night the way they did, up and down the field, both sides of the ball, even though the game went 60 minutes and 3 seconds long, they still destroyed the Green Bay Packers. The Detroit Lions, guys, might be the real deal. We've been kind of talking about, kind of like this 3-horse race in the NFC, right? You had the Dallas Cowboys, you had the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you had the 49ers, right? At what point do we put the Detroit Lions up there? At what point do you add the Detroit Lions to that conversation with the 49ers, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Dallas Cowboys? I think the time is now. I think the time is now that we add them into that conversation. Not only are they hard to beat, they are a balanced team. And John nailed it right here on the head. A balanced team is hard to beat. Pick your poison. Do you want Jared Goff to throw for 300 yards, or do you want David Montgomery to rush for 31 yards? Pick your poison. Oh, David Montgomery's having a bad night. We still got Jamar Gibbs. He rushed for 40 yards last night. Oh, Gibbs is having a bad game too. Raymond, he rushed for 40 yards last night too. Guys, the Detroit Lions are going to be a very, very hard out. No matter who they play, they are going to be a very, very hard out. Many people thought week 1 was a fluke when they went into Arrowhead Stadium and they beat the Kansas City Chiefs 21-20. Oh, they only beat them because they're shorthanded. No Travis Kelce, no Chris Jones, yada, yada, yada. 10 days later, they lose to the Seahawks in overtime, right? And then they come out week 4 and then said, look at this, baby. This is called a power running game. Stop us if you can. Oh, you can't? Our offensive line is killing you. Our defensive line is killing you. Good Lord. Guys, the Detroit Lions might be the real deal. I would go out and say they are the real deal. John last night was like, say it. Say it. Say it. The Detroit Lions are going to win the North. And I'm like, no. Not going to say it. Not going to say it. Not going to speak it into existence. No way, no how, right? But I slept on it last night. Sitting there watching the post game with Richard Sherman and Fitzmagic and Whitworth and all those guys, right? Turned it over to the NFL Network, rewatched the game in the condensed version. Like 45 minutes, I think it is. Went to bed about 2 o'clock in the morning. Got up about 6:37, got the kids ready, put them on the bus, eating some breakfast. Turned on NFL Now at work, started prepping for the show, seeing what they were saying about it. Turned it over to ESPN, changed over to Fox Sports. Guys, I might have to jump on this bandwagon. Might have to jump on this bandwagon. This Adrian Hutchinson jersey. Right there, baby. Maybe it's time to jump on it, John. Maybe it is time for me to eat some crow. Maybe it is time for me to say, you know what? The Detroit Lions will win the North. Who is going to stop them? Who is going to stop them? When you look at the North right now, who is going to stop them? They went into Lambeau Field, not only beat the Green Bay Packers, they dominated them. The Chicago Bears, they're not going to do shit. 0-3, about to be 0-4 after this week. Minnesota Vikings, Justin Jefferson already wants out. Trade rumors, baby. You trade Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings are worse than the Chicago Bears. Let's just be honest about it. Guys, we have to jump on this bandwagon. We have to. The Detroit Lions are winning the North. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC North. The Detroit Lions might be the third best team in the NFC right now. Think about that. The third best team in the NFL. The NFC. Hell, we could probably put them in the third best team in the NFL. I mean, they did beat the Kansas City Chiefs head-to-head. That should, by default, put them ahead, right? They could probably beat the Dallas Cowboys. We'll find out in a few weeks, right? Maybe it is time to start buying into some Detroit Lions. One Pride 40's in the chat. Says, how about them Lions? Yes, One Pride 40. The Lions had a great game, man. I will give credit where credit is due. You guys get a round of applause. I did pick the Packers to win. I am 0-1 on the week right now. So far, it is what it is. John says, how about that road record? Dan Campbell has made a massive turnaround. I don't know what his road record is, but I feel like it is not terrible. I mean, watching Hard Knocks last season, I said it, and I'll say it again, and just watching Dan Campbell on the sideline last night, this guy makes me want to throw on my pads again. This man makes me want to hit the weights again. This man makes me want to run through a brick wall for him over and over and over again. I don't know what it is about him, but he just has that certain grit about him that I am gravitating toward, and I would love to have him as my coach. If I was a massive Detroit Lions fan, I would be on cloud nine. Every time I see Dan Campbell, I would get a little chub in my pants. Hell, I'm not a massive Detroit Lions fan, and I get a little chub in my pants every time I see him. Like, man, Dan Campbell was probably one of the best hires ever in the NFL. He has not tried to mock somebody else, right? What is the big drawback from Josh McDaniels is he is trying to mock what Bill Belichick is doing in New England. He was trying to, do what he's been seeing success in New England, right? Matt Patricia had an opportunity to be a great coach, right? But he wanted to install the Patriot way in Detroit. You had no backing about what you were trying to do. You had no charisma about you. Good thing about Dan Campbell is he is coming in and he is doing it his way. He is not trying to follow this road of success. He has pulled a little bit of here. He's pulled a little bit there, pulled a little bit of here, but most of he's pulled it right here and a lot in his chest. Dan Campbell has that heart, and you can tell it. Dan Campbell is a great coach, a perfect head coach for the city of Detroit, for the Detroit Lions, and just the NFL in general. Jay says they did everything last night without the blitz. Yes. That's what even made it more impressive. Now, you are going to see those haters out there, Jay. So just be prepared. Oh, you guys only did it because Bakhtiari was out, right? I don't think it mattered if David Bakhtiari was in or not. The Detroit Lions dominated both sides of the ball. Face it. Delray Robert Tree is in the chat. What's up? Said, that's my team. That is my team in the Detroit Lions. Yes, you guys did a great game last night. I am eating some crow today. I did not. So I got off work about 9:30, guys. So I was watching the first quarter and like a half, and then I head home, right? And Hoffy sent me a text, and like he's like, "This could get ugly." I'm like, "What are you talking about, Hoffy?" The last I knew, it was 14-3, and yes, the Lions did make a big play down the field, but I didn't see that they scored, right? And like he's like, "Oh, I'll shut my mouth." And then I got home, it was like 27-3. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? But yeah, the Detroit Lions played great last night. They had that Motown mojo going. John says Fitz ate a little crow from Goff. I did not see that post-game interview. I was getting myself ready for bed, washing the face, brushing teeth, all that good stuff. But it would not surprise me. Next comment up says the only thing stopping the Detroit Lions is the Detroit Lions themselves. Yes, the only thing stopping the Detroit Lions right now is their ego, right? I think they could play bad football and they can still compete as long as their ego does not get in the way. And when Jameson Williams comes back, finally gets to play some NFL games after his rookie year, he was out and now he's gambling. I think he comes back week 6 or week 7. Don't try to interject him directly into the offense. Don't mess up that Motown mojo, right? Don't mess it up. But yes, the only thing stopping them right now is themselves. They need to find themselves a McDouche. They need to find themselves a McDouche isn't a leader like Dan Campbell. Not for sure what you're trying to say there, John. I think you're trying to say that Josh McDaniels is just not a very good coach. Not a very good leader of men. It takes a special person to try to be a leader of men. That's why many people think Coach Prime would be a bust in the NFL. Because he is not a leader of men. He can be a leader of young men, yes. He can lead them to the NIL deals, etc., but we don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into the Coach Prime talk because for some reason it turns into a race war. Just like when you talk about Colin Kaepernick in his letter to the Jets. It's a race war. Like, whatever. It is what it is. I understand people had to have a reason to hate on something. I get it. Whatever. It is what it is. Moving on. Guys, week 4 here. Week 4 of the NFL season is this make or break point in the NFL season. History proves that if you go 1-3 on the season, there's only been 18 teams that have made the playoffs when you start the season 1-3. Only one of those teams have won the Super Bowl. When you start 0-4, no team has made the playoffs. However, if you start 2-1, 53% of the time you do make the playoffs. So, must-win Week 4 situation is here. We are going to talk about 4 teams that I think are in must-win situations that are all 1-2 on the year. So, obviously, if you go 1-3, your chances making the playoffs go down. If you are a 500 team going into the playoffs, you still have a legit opportunity. No time to tank. But the first team I want to talk about today here, that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, they've had the injury of Joe Burrow. Yes, they've kind of had a toughest schedule to start the year, right? They played the Browns and they played the Ravens, both losses to start the season, and then they come back on Monday Night Football and they do beat the Rams 19-16. But they are 1-2 to start the season so far, and they do play the Tennessee Titans this weekend at Tennessee. So, guys, we have to ask this question. Are the Cincinnati Bengals in a must-win situation going into this Week 4 matchup versus the Tennessee Titans? So, I got to thinking about this. Everything that I just said about the 1-3 teams, only 18 of them have ever made the playoffs, and only one of them have ever made the Super Bowl. I think if the Cincinnati Bengals do start 1-3 this season, let's say they go into Nashville, Tennessee, and they lose, but they lose, it's a good loss. 21-28, 24-21, right? Joe Burrow looks healthy, right? I think they'll be okay. So they are not in a must-win situation this week going into week 4, because if you look at the schedule moving forward, they do play the Arizona Cardinals. They should beat a grungy Arizona Cardinals team. Then they play a good Seahawks team, and then they play the 49ers, and then they play the Bills the next 4 weeks. Very toughest schedule, right? But on the other side of the coin, they are last place in their division, but the rest of the division is sitting at 2-1, and they all play each other in the next couple weeks, right? The Steelers do play the Texans this week, which the Texans go and beat the Jaguars, but then they play the Baltimore Ravens, a nice little head-to-head, probably battle for first place, right? But then the Ravens play the Browns this weekend. So they are not in a must-win situation right now, because of the rest of the schedule in the NFL. The Steelers do play the Ravens. The Ravens do play the Browns. So they will kind of knock each other down, knock them down to size like a little bit, giving the Bengals an opportunity to really get right, to really find themselves, and then make a nice little late season run. Now, I do think they will win this game, but they're not in a must-win situation. So week 4 for the Cincinnati Bengals, 1-2, going into the 1-2 Tennessee Titans, not a must-win. Not a must-win for them at all, but I do think they will win, as John thinks they will win as well. Who do you guys think? Will the Bengals go into Nashville and beat the Tennessee Titans? Let's talk about that. Browns do have a very tough defense. They do have a great defense. Good Lord. Curtis Hughes is in the chat. There's a new name. What's up, Curtis? Welcome to the chat, man. Welcome to the live show. We are live every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Live, raw, and uncut NFL talk. And we have after show every Tuesday and Friday at 10 p.m. Tonight, we were challenged to give us a top 10 quarterbacks and top 10 defense going into week 4. So we'll be discussing that tonight. The Cincinnati Bengals are good enough to win the division. I do agree with you with that. They are good enough to win the division. They will not win the division. Let me put emphasis on that. They will not win the division, but they are good enough to win the division. The issue with the AFC North right now is they are very, very loaded. Let's just be honest. You can probably put any team at the top right now and say, yes, this team will win. And I could be like, you know what? I could see why you're saying that. Baltimore Ravens, I could see why you're saying that. Cincinnati Bengals, obviously I see why you're saying that. Pittsburgh Steelers, even though people are shitting on Pittsburgh for whatever reason, I could see why people like me are saying that. The only team that I'm really worried about is the Cleveland Browns, to be honest. And once Deshaun Watson finds a massage therapist in Cleveland, he'll be A-okay. But yes, the Cincinnati Bengals are good enough to win the division 100%. But I'm not in panic mode. I'm not in a must-win situation for the Cincinnati Bengals moving forward. They will be that 19th team to make the playoffs if they do go 1-3 this season. Next team up, XD Gamers team here from the, if you guys recognize that name, come into the after show and he'll talk and all of that shit. But with that being said, the Jacksonville Jaguars are starting the season off of 1-2 as well. After a week 1 victory over the Indianapolis Colts, they pulled away late. But then they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they lost to the Houston Texans last week as well on a 2-game losing streak. So they are 1-2, second in the AFC South going into week 4. Their next couple games here, they are playing the Falcons overseas this weekend, and then they play the Buffalo Bills, Colts, and Saints moving forward. So we got to ask the question, are the Jacksonville Jaguars in a must-win situation right now going into week 4? Yes. The Jacksonville Jaguars have to beat the Atlanta Falcons. They have to win this game over in Wembley or whatever they're playing. London, right? They have to win at 9:30 in the morning on Sunday and beat down the Atlanta Falcons. Not only do they need to win like very, very pound it down the throat. We are here, baby. We are back. because that schedule looking forward is not a very favorable one for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Buffalo Bills. We're going to see how good they really are this weekend when they battled the Miami Dolphins. Can they put back-to-back complete games? Then you play the Colts team. For whatever reason, you always split with the Colts. Jacksonville normally wins in Indy, and then the Colts come down to Jacksonville and they win. Plus, the Colts are clicking right now. Then you play the Saints, a very dangerous Saints team. Alvin Kamara, that'll be his 4th game back. Should have his legs back. And then you play the Steelers, the 49ers, and then you play the Titans and the Texans again. Guys, if the Jaguars do not get right this week and win this week and go 2-2, they could very easily, very, very easily be a 3 to 4 win team this season. Wrap your head around that. If they do not win this week versus the Atlanta Falcons, the wheels might fall off the wagon in Jacksonville. I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is a bad quarterback. I'm not saying they're a terrible team. Their schedule's not favorable. They have probably one of the hardest schedules moving forward. Like, look at the schedule, guys. The Saints, Steelers, 49ers, 3 weeks in a row, and they play the Saints and Steelers both on the road. What? Jacksonville Jaguars have to win week 4. If they want an opportunity to make the playoffs this season, they have to win week 4. Who do you guys got? Atlanta Falcons or Jacksonville Jaguars? Let me know. John says yes. It is a must win, and they will win. They will win, they said. He also says, I flipped a coin on Miami and Buffalo. Heads Carolina, tails California, right? Moving on. This is a two-parter here, guys. This is the old two-parter. We got to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers. They go to battle this week, both 1-2, both second place in the AFC West. But I feel like these teams are going in two totally different directions. Right now, they're parallel, right? Right now, they don't know what to do with their hands. Right now, we're like, I don't know what to do with myself, right? But these are two teams that if they do not win this week, this is a must-win for both of these teams. By the way, let's just put that out there. They're in a must-win situation right now, both of these, because if both of these teams do not win, let's start with the Raiders. If the Raiders do not win this week, that Devontae Adams chatter is going to get louder and louder and louder. The Jimmy G bust, not worth it, Derek Carr 2.0 chat is going to get louder and louder and louder. Yes, I know Jimmy G may not play this week. He has not cleared concussion protocol, but he did practice yesterday. But that talk's going to get louder and louder and louder. Not only is it going to get louder, then you play the Green Bay Packers. Then you play the New England Patriots. Then you play the Chicago Bears. Very, very easily, you could be 1-7 going into your bye week. The Raiders are in a must-win situation right now. If Josh McDaniels wants his job, he better beat LA. If Devontae Adams does not want out of Las Vegas, they better win this game right here, right now. Raiders fans, you guys better be cheering your asses off when the Chargers come into town. You better be doing everything you can, selling your soul to the devil if you got to win this game. Because if you do not beat the Chargers in this week 4 matchup, the wheels are going to fall off. The wagon is going to explode, and the Cowboys and Indians are going to circle it, right? It is going to be a way big disaster. Jim, your team, you better jump off that bandwagon now. You better jump on the Chiefs bandwagon, man. You better jump on the Colts. You better jump on the Cowboys. Somebody. Because if the Raiders lose this game, they're in a world of hurt. John says, I hear Jimmy G is off protocol. He did practice yesterday, full participant. So that would make sense, right? I prefer I prefer the rookie. He just clicked better than Jimmy G. Interesting. The rookie Adrian O'Connell, right? I actually got a chance to watch some of his preseason games last night while studying some film, and you guys were very, very, very right. Adrian O'Connell is better than Boyd, right? Or sorry, Hoyer. He actually might be better than Jimmy G right now as well. Just has that swag about him, kind of has that it factor, right? Then we talk about the LA Chargers. LA Chargers are 1-2 as well, right? Their first win came over the Minnesota Vikings last week. A very controversial fourth down call, fourth and four to basically steal the game for them, right? Obviously, we all agree it was a bad call, bad play call, but the outcome came on the right end of the stick that particular time. That's the only reason why he is there right here, right now. But if the Chargers do not win this week, we are going to hear those chants, "Fire Staley," get louder, louder, and louder. They are going to want Kellen Moore as head coach. They're going to want somebody different as his head coach. Brandon Staley will be out. If the Chargers do not beat the Raiders this week, Brandon Staley will be fired by the end of the week. Because they got a bye week next week, and then they play the Cowboys, and then they play the Chiefs, and then they play the Bears. Guys, if the Chargers do not win this week versus the Las Vegas Raiders, there's going to be some moves. There's going to be some changes. Start with the head coach. Head coach is out 100%. Then you start looking at some defense play calling. Defense is giving up a lot of points. Not looking very good. Heads are going to roll if the Chargers do not win this week 4 matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Must-win situation. Now, as a Chiefs fan, you guys see it. You see those Super Bowl banner hanging right there, right? As a Chiefs fan, the Raiders better lose this game. I want Brandon Staley as the head coach in the AFC West still. Chargers just win this game. Keep Staley for another year. Why? Because the Chargers have that roster, guys. I've been saying it for a long time. On paper, the Chargers should not be as bad as they are. But for whatever reason, they are. They're just not a very good team. But guys, let's get into some week 4 pick'ems here. Let's go down the board, go down through all of the games. Let me pull up my sheet here. Still trying to gel. How many years does it take to a gel? Come on now. Oh, spilling shit. All right, guys, so I got my paper out here. We are trying to make some picks here. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Atlanta Falcons. This game, John, I'm flipping a coin just like you are. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars because they have been there, done that. It seems like every year they play in Germany or London. Miami versus the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Dolphins. I do like the Fins in that one, even though it is going to be a very, very close game. I think the Fins come out on top. Broncos versus the Bears. I am taking the home team. Give me the Chicago Bears. Baltimore Ravens take on the Cleveland Browns. I think the Browns finally find some offensive firepower, and the Watson to Cooper connection starts to make happen. Kareem Hunt gets in the game, finds his legs. Bada bing, bada boom. Magic happens. The Bengals versus the Titans. I like the Titans in this game. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but my gut's telling me to pick the Titans. Rams versus Colts. Rams are playing good football. Colts are playing better football. Give me the Colts. Buccaneers versus the Saints. If I remember correctly, the Buccaneers have won like 7 or 8 games in a row over the New Orleans Saints in the regular season. A lot of hype around Alvin Kamara coming back. There's also a lot of hype around Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is Derek Carr going to play? That's the big question. I think Winston is like in, so I'm taking the Bucs on this one. Then we have the Commanders taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm looking over at my Week 4 pick'em, and nobody has picked the Commanders to win this game. Nobody has picked the Commanders to win this game. I'm following suit. Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. Excuse me. Vikings taking on the Carolina Panthers. 2 0-3 teams. Carolina Panthers at home. Bryce Young should be back and healthy. Give me the Vikings. I think the Vikings are finally finding the right track. Eventually, they'll get the win. Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Houston Texans. Texans coming off a huge win over the Jacksonville Jaguars last weekend. Steelers are just going to run the ball downhill. Steelers are too good right now. Tim McWall says, let's go Commandos. Commandos. Next up, we have the Raiders taking on the Chargers. Sorry, I misspoke earlier. This game is at LA, so there'll be a lot more Raiders fans at LA than there will be in Vegas, but whatever. I'm taking the Chargers in this game. Give me the home team. This game is kind of a coin flip for me as well. The New England Patriots take on the Dallas Cowboys. I do like the Patriots a lot. I think they've had a tough break the first 2 weeks of the season, but I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys. Arizona Cardinals taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The high of beating the Dallas Cowboys is still fresh in Arizona, and they forget to show up in San Francisco. 49ers dominate that game. No question about it. Kansas City Chiefs take on the Jets. This game is going to be a lot more intriguing than most people make it out to be. It is a Sunday night game, right? This could be Zach Wilson's final game in a New York Jets uniform. Give me KC. And then Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks take on the Giants. Should I tell you guys? I'm taking the Giants at home Monday night. But guys, that is it for Week 4 NFL talk. We'll be back tonight, 10 p.m. East Coast time. Guys, I got a lot of shit happening at work, so I got to cut it early today. I got to get to work, and strikes happen, right? Whatever. I got to get the plant shut down. I'm a computer guy. Nobody's stealing my shit. Later, guys.